Hey, how you doing? My name is Terrence Washington. I'm a artist out of Blackville, South Carolina, and I got a story to tell. Okay, right before COVID hit, really just popped off here in America. I was at work, working in a factory at the time, and I get a email from this guy named Frank Rollins out of New Orleans. That's what he claimed. But he tells me that his wife been looking at my artwork on my Ipsy page for a while, and their anniversary is coming up, and that he want to get it before their anniversary. So the thing is, I was like, okay, well, you can order through my website, we ship it and everything. And the painting that they were looking at is Groove Like That. And I gotta admit, Groove Like That is one of my favorite paintings. But point case, the guy was explaining to me that he didn't want to buy it off the website because his wife would know. Yeah, I was like, how would she know? But he explained that their bank accounts are linked, so you know she would see the money come out with me or whatever. So she would have had an idea. But so me and the guy, we ended up talking for about a month because this was around January. So we ended up talking for about a month or so, just back and forth trying to figure out how can we do this and are they scamming, that type of stuff. But well, after a month of communication, the guy was like, "Hey, it's really getting close to the anniversary, and I would like to know how long it would take for it to get here." So I started researching it, figure out how much it would cost and everything. So I emailed this guy back telling him how much it would cost, everything, get the whole 9 yards. So he said that him and his wife are in the process of moving to Atlanta, and they just bought a house and everything. So he got this mover that's gonna move everything from New Orleans to Atlanta. And I just thought it was interesting that he's moving to New Atlanta, but I ain't think nothing of it. You got money, you can do that. So he tells me that he's gonna have his mover to contact me, and we're gonna try to set up everything because he wants to surprise his wife when they moved into the house. So, with that being said, everything was all set up, all taken care of. I found out how much it's gonna cost to ship the painting. He told me he's gonna send a check, so he wrote a check. He said he's gonna have the mover to write a check. I'm sorry, and the mover so-called sends me an email, let me know when to expect the check, sent me a tracking number, everything. So I hop on the internet, I check the tracking number. It tells me when it's going to arrive. Then I get a certified message that I have a package at the post office. Go pick it up, everything. You know, Everything's cool. I'm thinking everything gonna open up. Go to the post office, get this check out the mailbox. Now I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, this is legit. This guy's really doing what he says he's gonna do. Okay. So after getting the check, I gotta admit, I broke down and cried because at that time I was just laid off due to the COVID thing, and I was working as a temp at this factory. So I was just laid off. Um, it just seemed like everything bad that could happen was happening. Because Lord knows I had a lot that happened in a short period of time. So when I got the check, I just fell to my knees crying, and thanking God and everything. And I mean, I just felt like Brighter Days was like right there, like going forward. You know, I'm not selling a print. I'm selling the original painting. And y'all want to know how much it is? Just go to my website. You know, better yet, yeah, just go to the website. And like I said, the thing that got me the most was just thanking God that I finally sold an original piece, and I got the check in my hand. So the next day, I ran to the bank, deposited in the bank, and let the guy know, sent him an email, let him know, got the check, I deposited it in the bank. Um, Everything gonna take place by the end of the week. Now, while I'm at the bank, SRP in Barnwell, South Carolina, I've been with SRP for years, since I was 17. Now, I'm in the bank. I'm talking to the lady at the counter. I asked her, is the check good? She looks at it. She said, it looks good. I asked her, could she run it? I need to make sure this check is legit. So, you know, she behind the computer typing and everything, doing her little thing. So I'm like, okay. She said, that check is good. So I said, okay. You sure it's good? She said, yes. And then she asked me why. Now, the part that I left out just now was in the midst of communication with the guy, or with the mover. He tells me that, no, not the mover, Frank. He sends me an email saying, oh my God, the mover sent you the check for a wrong amount. It was supposed to be for, I think, $1,100. And he sent me the check for 27 some change. So he asked me, can I send back, can I cash, once I get the check, since it's done Sunday, can I cash it and send him back the rest? And I was like, okay. So again, like I said, I checked with the lady to make sure the check was good at the counter. She was like, yeah, it's good. Everything's okay. So I asked her, I said, you sure? She said, yes. So they went ahead and processed the check and everything. So this was on a Monday. So I just sat there and just watched the check, watched the money in my account. Just watched it. Like, okay. So here it is, Wednesday. I get a message from the guy. He asked me, was everything okay? I didn't get the confirmation for when you sending the painting or whatever. So, you know, I'm like, yeah, everything fine. I'm just waiting to make sure everything processed through with the check. And he says, okay. Now, Thursday, that same Wednesday now, I contact the bank. I go back by the bank, talk to another lady. I asked her about the situation. She says she knows what's going on, and according to my account, everything seems fine. So I asked about the check, because you know they could pull it up on the screen, that the check that I deposited or whatever. So she pulls it up. She's like, yeah, everything's fine. All right, cool, everything fine. So Thursday come around, the guy hits me back, and he just asked me if we had an opportunity to go ahead and package that, and when you're gonna send it. So, you know, I let him know, hey, I'm putting it in the mail tomorrow, and I'm gonna go ahead and send you back your money. And he was like, okay, great, that'd be fine. So again, I checked with the bank on Thursday, everything was fine. So I went on ahead and sent the guy back the money. But the thing was, I sent it back to him because I didn't want him to have my bank account information. I got his Cash App information, and I sent him back the money through Cash App. Well, The next day, which was that Friday, I get a phone call from the bank, and they're like, "It's a fraudulent check." I was shocked, like, yo, I asked y'all several times, was everything fine? They was like, oh yeah, it was fine, but we had to wait and make sure this, that, and the third. I said, so why y'all didn't let me know what you had to do on the end? Because I kept asking this question, was this check good? Well, now I'm sitting in the bank looking crazy. And like I said, this is right before COVID hit too. I'm sitting in the bank looking crazy because now it's like that 27. It's like the bank said I don't owe them what I took out. I owe them what I sent the guy. So it's like, okay. It was like, yeah. So basically, my whole transition, they froze my assets. They froze everything. First of all, everything got frozen. What money I had, I couldn't get it. I was not privy to get it. So the painting cost $1,000. I was stuck. So now I'm looking crazy like, yo, this can't be serious. This cannot be serious. Now I'm contacting the guy. I ain't getting no messages, no response back. I go to the police department, write a police report. And it's crazy because this officer was like, yeah, I'm going to help you and da da da. And next thing I know, he was like, wait a minute, you stay in Blackville. Oh, God, I can't help you. You have to go to the sheriff department or go to your town police department. So I go over to the sheriff department, meet with these two detectives there. I'm going through the emails with the guy. I'm telling him everything that I know. So they go ahead and make a police report with me. And it's funny because it was two officers that I met. One officer was just looking at everything. He was like, man, everything looks legit. I gave him a copy of the check. He said everything looks legit. He went through the emails. So then he started doing his background check. And the guy said, you know what? They would have got me too. I looked at him crazy like, what do you mean? He said, man, everything here looks legit. They sent you an address. They sent you everything you needed. But it's all fraudulent. I was like, man. And he said, that's what I'm saying. They would have got me too. So I asked, what can they do? And they said they're going to turn it over to the FBI. And until then, they're going to try to do an investigation. And they're going to contact the bank. They're going to speak with the bank and everything. So now I take the police report over to the bank. Made sure the bank got the police report. You know, I tried to file whatever I need to file with the bank. And I'm thinking everything's okay. We're going to work something out. Then I get a call from the regional manager. And he's talking all nice and everything. He's like, hey, we're going to get this sorted out. Don't worry about anything. Let's figure out what we're going to do from this step. Did you file the police report? I explained it. Yes, I filed the police report. He said, yeah, because we just had a series about scams that came out. And not saying you were scamming us, but, you know, it seemed like you were scammed. So we're going to work something out. So, you know, I'm feeling optimistic and hopeful. You know, I'm like, good. Let's get this settled. And would you not believe this? I get a letter, 2 days later, I get a letter in the mail from SRP, the corporate office in North Augusta. I get a letter from them saying that all my assets will be frozen until I pay back $2,700 and something dollars. I was like, what? I did not have that money. Everything's frozen, so I'm like, I'm lost, mind blown. It is crazy. So now, the next day, I'm calling, and the same guy that I talked to, his name was Brian, talked to him, and he was like, mad cool, but then it kind of switched to like, hey, look, we really need to get this money back so we can get you situated and get you settled. Everything's good. So I'm like, okay, cool. They say, look, meet with the young lady at SRP in Barnwell, discuss a plan. Let's get this taken care of. Okay, great. So now I'm meeting with this young lady, and she's like, after everything that happened, I'm sorry, but you have 30 days to pay back, like right at $3,000. Okay, first of all, I ain't got no job. That's right. I lost all my cool. I ain't got no job. Yes, I know I don't have a job. But anyway, it's like, and like I said, I just lost my cool. Like, yo, are you serious? This cannot be happening. A moment where I thought everything was gonna, start becoming good, it just fell apart. Now I'm talking to people trying to figure out how we can get this taken care of, and it seems like nobody cares. Nobody cares. Tried discussing it with my mom, and it's just like, yeah, look, we do something. It's like no biggie to everybody else, but to me, it's like the end of the world. Primarily because here I am, been struggling. Thought that maybe somebody out there in the world really want my artwork, and that, hey, maybe this could be my jump off to becoming somebody in the art world. I'm always helping other people, but I was thinking this was my moment. And I remember just sitting there crying and like asking God, why? What's going on? What did I do? How did this happen? Well, after that, like I said, I didn't have a job. COVID hit. Everything happened. So I was supposed to have this money in 30 days. 30 days been going by. I ain't got no money. But this time, the stimulus package came out. And it's funny because my assets are frozen. But the stimulus check still went into my account. So I'm looking like, okay, scrape up the rest of the money some kind of way. Man, I lost a lot of sleep. I'm crying over here because I done got a letter said, look, you either pay the money by this time or else someone's coming to pick you up. So now I'm calling the bank like, what's going on? How can we work this out? Same guy that I talked to, Brian, he went from talking all nice and talking like he gonna help to like, look, you owe this amount of money, this is what you gotta do, you either gonna pay it or you're going to jail. I mean, flat out, that's all it was. I'm pissed off at this point now because he's not trying to work with me. I ain't got no job. COVID hit. What can I do? Nothing. Now I'm trying to talk to this guy like he's somebody. Now he's talking to me like I scammed him. And that's how he basically put it. He was like, look, you wrote a check to us. The check was bad. You took the money. You did this. So it's on you. You got to pay this back. You got to do this. You got to do that. And then he was like, you know what? From this point on, we have nothing else to say. It's been turned over to the magistrate. And that's it. Every time I call back, try to discuss how we can work it out, straight nothing. Can't talk to you, sir. Now, When I say my assets are frozen, everything is. I look at my account, it's zero, zero, negative, nothing. So I'm like, okay, it's showing the money still there, but it's nothing. It has a negative beside it, and it's all in red. So if you ever get a check, you go in the red, you'll know. But anyway, so now I'm freaking out. Like, okay, on Friday, I'm supposed to either have this money or get ready to go to jail that Friday. The stimulus check came, and I done scraped up some money, but I can't put it into the account because it's frozen. Now my bank can't touch me or do anything with me because all access and accounts are frozen. I have to run everything through the magistrate office over in Aiken, South Carolina. So that's what I did. I contacted the magistrate office. I talked to the young lady, try to figure out how we can help this, how we can do this. And the young lady there, she was very helpful. I mean, she spent the whole week trying to help me out as much as she could. But it all boiled down to I had to pay that money. And where that money came from, I have no idea. And as I'm sitting there looking at the account, the lady asked for a printout of my account and everything, right? And me and her talking, and she was like, it seemed like with the stimulus check and whatever else you have currently on you, you have enough to pay for it. But it's all in your account right now. I was like, what? So I'm looking at my account on my phone. I'm like, yeah, it's in there. So she was like, so if you have the money available, why they didn't just take that money and been done with it? I don't know. So she said, let me talk to some people and I'll call you back. I ain't heard nothing back from her. So a day later, I'm calling her like, hey, what's going on? Because tomorrow, either I'm supposed to have the money or I'm going to jail. And she's like, is it possible you can contact the guy and talk to him real quick? Because maybe y'all could just work it out where it's already paid. So I'm like, okay, great, I'll do that. So I called the guy Brian back, and he finally answered. And I tell him, I'm like, hey, look, isn't the money already in the account? You all froze it. It's already there. Why don't y'all just take it? Now, in the process, he's going off and just, because you're supposed to do this and you're supposed to do that, it's procedures and and we done turn it over to the magistrate's office. Oh, wait a minute. You said the money's already in the account? Yes. Do you give us permission to take the money out? I was like, yeah. He said, well, okay, we'll process that, but you still have to pay for the court costs. I was like, what? He said, yeah, we done turn it over to the magistrate's office. You still have to pay for the court costs. Oh, man. The other thing, I spoke to the magistrate, and we already arranged it and worked it out. So, yeah, everything's fine. You still have to pay the court costs. So, in the process, as of right now, I've been banking with SRP since I was 17 years old. Now I'm in bad standing with them because of the situation where someone scammed me. Now I asked the police department, had they found any, well, the sheriff department, had they found out any more information? No. Asked them, had they follow up anything or did anything else? It was like, no. They did their part when they took the statement and told the bank that, I filed a police report. That was it. So now, um, a painting that cost $1,000 cost me a painting a painting that I did that cost $1,000 cost me the artist $3,000, and I still don't have a job to this day. I gotta admit, when that whole thing happened, I was hurt. I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. And I mean, it was so many emotions, and it was hurtful. Right now, I mean, the only thing I could do is keep pushing forward, but my bank, I can't go to them for nothing anymore. So I have to go to a new bank and try to build a relationship with them. But as of right now, all my accounts except for one is closed with SRP, and I have to write a letter and pay a little extra to open an account with them. And I've been there since I was 17. That's hurtful. The other thing is, I have no idea where this guy is. Nothing. Just got my money and disappeared. And shortly after that, I get a flood of messages, um, commercials, and everything talking about how people are scamming people left and right, and what to do and what not to do. And if somebody asks for money back, they send you too much money. They ask for the balance back. Don't do it. I'm like, man, I wish I had known this before I did it, because I never would have done it. So let that be a lesson.